I would never dare be so audacious as to mock your authority again. But because this monster spirit has changed into the form of your subject." Whereupon he gave a thorough account of what had taken place, ending with the words, "I beg you to do this for your subject and distinguish between the two of us." That pilgrim also gave exactly the same account. Issuing a decree at once to summon Devaraja Li, the pagoda bearer, the Jade Emperor commanded, "Let us look at those two fellows through the imp-reflecting mirror, so that the false may perish and the true endure." The Devaraja took out the mirror immediately, and asked the Jade Emperor to watch with the various celestial deities. What appeared in the mirror were two reflections of Sun Wukong. There was not the slightest difference between their golden fillets, their clothing, and even their hair. Since the Jade Emperor found it impossible to distinguish them, he ordered them chased out of the hall. Our great sage was laughing scornfully, while that pilgrim also guffawed jovially, as they grabbed each other's head and neck once more to fight their way out of the heaven gate. Dropping down to the road to the west, they shouted at each other, "I'll go see Master with you. I'll go see Master with you." We now tell you about that Sha monk, who since leaving them at the Flower Fruit Mountain, traveled again for 3 nights and days before he arrived at the mountain hut. After he told the Tang monk all that had taken place, the elder was filled with regret, saying, "I thought at that time that it was Sun Wukong, who gave me a blow with his rod and who robbed us of our wraps. How could I know that it was a monster spirit who had assumed the form of pilgrim? Not only did that fiend do that," said Sha monk, "but he had someone change into an elder, and another into 8 rules pawing our wraps. In addition to a white horse, there was still another fiend who changed into the likeness of me. I couldn't restrain my anger and killed him with one blow of my staff. He was actually a monkey spirit. I left in a hurry to go to inform the Bodhisattva, who then asked elder brother to go with me to see for ourselves back at the Water Curtain Cave. When we arrived, we discovered that that fiend was indeed an exact copy of elder brother. I couldn't tell them apart, and it was difficult, therefore, for me to lend any assistance. That's why I came back first to report to you." On hearing this, Tripitaka paled with fright, but 8 rules laughed uproariously, saying, "Fine. Fine. Fine. The popo of our patron's house has spoken true. She said that there had to be several groups of pilgrims going to procure scriptures. Isn't this another group? The members of that family, old and young, all came to ask Sha monk, 'Where have you been these last few days? Did you go off to seek travel money?' 'I went to the place of my big brother,' said Sha monk with a laugh, 'at the Flower Fruit Mountain of the East Purva Vidya continent to look for our luggage. Next I went to have an audience with the Bodhisattva Guanyin at the Potalaka Mountain of South Sea. Then I had to go back to the Flower Fruit Mountain again before I came back here.' 'What was the distance that you had to travel?' asked the old man. 'Back and forth,' replied Sha monk. 'It had to be about 200,000 miles. "'Oh, sire,' said the old man. 'You mean to tell me that you have covered all that distance in these few days? You must have soared on the clouds, or you would never have made it.' 'If he didn't soar on the clouds,' said 8 rules, 'how could he cross the sea? We haven't covered any distance,' said Sha monk. 'If it were my big brother, it would take only a couple of days for him to get there and return.' When those family members heard what he said, they all claimed that their visitors had to be immortals. 'We are not immortals,' said 8 rules. 'But the immortals are really our juniors.' As they were speaking, they suddenly heard a great uproar in the middle of the sky. They were so startled that they came out to look, and they found 2 pilgrims locked in battle as they drew near. On seeing them, 8 Rules' hands began to itch, and he said, 'Let me see if I can tell them apart. Dear idiot.' He leapt into the air and cried, 'Elder brother, don't fret. Old Hog's here.' The 2 pilgrims cried out at the same time, 'Brother, come and beat up this monster spirit.' The old man was so astonished by the sight that he said to himself, "So we have in our house several arhats who can ride the clouds and mount the fog. Even if I had made a vow to feed the monks, I might not have been able to find this kind of noble people." Without bothering to think of the cost, he wanted at once to bring out more tea and rice to present to his visitors. Then he muttered to himself, "But I fear that no good can come out of these two pilgrims fighting like that. They will overturn heaven and earth and cause terrible calamity who knows where." When Tripitaka saw that the old man was openly pleased, though he was, at the same time, full of secret anxiety, he said to him, "Please do not worry, old patron, and don't start any lamentation. When this humble cleric succeeds in subduing his disciple and in inducing the wicked to return to virtue, he will most certainly thank you. Please don't mention it. Please don't mention it," said the old man repeatedly. "Please don't say anything more, patron," said Sha Monk. "Master, you sit here while I go up there with second elder brother. Each of us will pull before you one of them, and you can start reciting that little something. We'll be able to tell, for whoever has pain will be the real pilgrim." "You are absolutely right," said Tripitaka. Sha Monk indeed rose to mid-air and said, "Stop fighting, the two of you, and we'll go with you to Master and let him distinguish the true from the false." Our great sage desisted, and that pilgrim also dropped his hands. Sha Monk took hold of one of them and said, "Second elder brother, you take the other one." They dropped down from the clouds and went before the thatched hut. As soon as he saw them, Tripitaka began reciting the tight fillet spell, and the two of them immediately screamed, "We've been fighting so bitterly already. How could you still cast that spell on us? Stop it! Stop it!" As his disposition had always been kind, the elder at once stopped his recitation, but he could not tell them apart at all. Shrugging off the hold of Sha Monk and 8 rules, the two of them were again locked in battle. "Brothers," said our great sage, "take care of Master, and let me go before King Yama with him to see if there could be any way of discriminating us." That pilgrim also spoke to them in the same manner. Tugging and pulling at each other, the two of them soon vanished from sight. Sha Monk said 8 rules. "When you saw the false 8 rules pawing the luggage in the water curtain cave, why didn't you take it away?" Sha Monk said, "When that monster spirit saw me slaying his false Sha Monk with my treasure staff, he and his followers surrounded me and wanted to seize me. I had to flee for my life, you know. After I told the Bodhisattva and went back to the entrance of the cave with Pilgrim, the two of them fought in midair while I went to overturn their stone benches and scattered the little fiends. All I saw then was a huge cascade flowing into a stream, but I could not find the cave entrance anywhere, nor could I locate the luggage. That's why I came back to Master empty-handed." "You really couldn't have known this," said 8 rules. "When I went to ask him to return that year, I met him first outside the cave. After I succeeded in persuading him to come, he said he wanted to go inside to change clothes. That was when I saw him diving right through the water, for the cascade is actually the cave entrance. That fiend, I suppose, must have hidden our wraps in there. If you know where the entrance is," said Tripitaka, "you should go there now while he is absent and take out our wraps. Then we can go to the western heaven by ourselves. Even if he should want to join us again, I won't use him. I'll go," answered 8 rules. "Second elder brother," said Sha Monk, "there are over 1,000 little monkeys in that cave of his. You may not be able to handle them all by yourself." "No fear, no fear," said 8 rules, laughing. He dashed out of the door, mounted the cloud and fog, and headed straight for the flower fruit mountain to search for the luggage. We tell you now instead about those 2 pilgrims, who brawled all the way to the rear of the mountain of perpetual shade. All those spirits on the mountain were so terrified that they, shaking and quaking, tried desperately to hide themselves. A few managed to escape first, and they rushed inside the fortified pass of the nether region and reported in the treasure hall of darkness. Great kings, there are two great sages, equal to heaven, who are fighting their way down from the mountain of perpetual shade. King Qingguang of the first chamber was so terrified that he at once passed the word to King of the beginning river in the second chamber, King of the Song Emperor in the third chamber, King of complete change in the fourth chamber, King Yama in the fifth chamber, King of equal ranks in the sixth chamber, King of Tai Mountain in the seventh chamber, King of city markets in the eighth chamber, King of avenging ministers in the ninth chamber, and King of the turning wheel in the 10th chamber. Soon after the word had passed through each chamber, the 10 kings assembled together, and they also sent an urgent message to King K. Itagarba to meet them at the Hall of Darkness. At the same time, they called up all the soldiers of darkness to prepare to capture both the true and the false. In a moment, they felt a gush of strong wind, and then they saw dense, dark fog rolling in the midst of which were two pilgrims tumbling and fighting together. The rulers of darkness went forth to stop them, saying,